Welcome back to our Sailrite workbench. Join us for part 2 of our Automotive Refresh Series. Today, we will be sewing 2 car boots. One is the shifter boot and the other is the e-brake boot. This is actually a very simple upgrade project that will add a luxury detail to your car. We chose to use a black fabric with a red thread, but you can choose any color combination that would best suit your car. The first material that you'll need is Ultraleather. Ultraleather is a popular animal-friendly leather alternative that combines a rich, luxurious feel and texture with high-performance qualities like climate control technology and excellent durability. All of these features make it the perfect material for this car detail. Next, you will need roughly a few feet of 1/8 inch shock cord, as well as 2 3/16 inch hog rings. Next, we're going to be using 2 threads. We've chosen a red and a black Tech 70, but you can choose the thread color and size that fits your project. Lastly, you will need some Sailrite patterning material. Next up are the tools you'll need. First, you need a marking tool, scissors, a thread burner, canvas patterning ruler, hog ring pliers, a hot knife and a cutting surface, which is going to be our tempered cutting glass, some fabric clips, and hand sewing needles. We will be sewing this project on our Sailrite fabricator with a 3mm edge guide foot to more easily create the decorative seams. We've linked all of these items in the description below to make it easy for you to order your supplies and follow along with us. The first step of this project is to create a pattern from your previous boot. Since we already have our patterns made with Sailrite patterning material, we're going to lay those on our Ultraleather to trace it. This material is a clear plastic sheeting material that's a bit stiffer than Durascrim, which makes it ideal for patterning this project. Make sure if you have pieces that are double-sided that you mark on the correct side of the pattern for each. For example, our e-brake boot has 2 identical sides, but we will flip it over so that the correct side of the material will be facing out when it's sewn together. Once they are marked, cut them out. Grab your fabric clips and clip the pieces together on all but one side. For our shifter boot, we are going to leave one of the back sides open, and for our e-brake boot, we are going to leave the bottom side open. When you're done clipping them, they should lie open like this. Now bring these pieces over to the sewing machine. We are going to be setting up our stitch length to 3mm and using black thread for these first seams. Sew the clipped edges together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. We're going to do this for both boots. Now add a French seam to these edges. First, we're going to use our Sailrite canvas patterning ruler to flatten the fabric on the back side to make it easier to sew. Now, it won't lie completely flat when doing this, but it will make a noticeable difference when you're sewing it. Be sure to switch your thread to the accent color of your choice, which is red for us. And again, we're creating this French seam with the help of our 3mm edge guide foot. Be sure to adjust the fabric underneath as needed to ensure that it's lying flat as you're sewing. To finish the edges of these boots, we're going to show you 2 different methods. For the shifter boot, we will show you a method that will mimic a French seam to close it up. This method is more time-consuming, but it does give a more finished look. And for the e-brake boot, we will show you a faster and simpler approach, so you can choose either option. We're going to start with the shifter boot. To create this fake French seam look, we're actually going to sew it in reverse. So rather than sewing the pieces together and then adding the decorative top stitch, we are first going to create the decorative stitches and then hand sew the seam together. Lay the sewn pieces flat with the wrong side facing up. Then fold the edges over a 1/4 inch on each side and clip it into place. Now sew down each side an 1/8 inch away from the edge. Before we sew this closed, we need to add our shock cord to the bottom to tension it. So cut a piece of shock cord that is a bit longer than the length of the bottom. Now fold the edge of the bottom over the shock cord and clip it into place. Be careful to line up the seams on top of each other when you fold it over. Then sew it into place. We are using black thread for this stitch. We are also going to clip and sew the top edge down to create a finished edge. Once the shock cord is secured in place, use a hog ring to correctly tension the shock cord. We recommend referencing the former boot for the tension. Use hog pliers to secure the ring. Then use a hot knife to cut the cord to size. Now clip the boot closed and use an invisible seam to close the end. If you would like to learn how to create an invisible seam in detail, you can watch our video going over it, which we've linked in the info button in the top right corner. But for this video, we will just quickly go through it. With our shifter boot completed, we will go back to our e-brake boot to show you a quicker way to assemble the last seam. So since this seam will be under the e-brake and not as visible, we don't need to have the French seam look for this one. First, repeat the same steps to add the shock cord to the bottom and the hem at the top. Cut it to size, fold it over, and then sew it into place. We went ahead and repeated the same steps as before to secure the shock cord tension with a hog ring. Turn the project wrong side out and clip the unstitched edge together. Then sew down that side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. That method is truly as simple as that. Once both boots are completed, we're going to go through with our thread burner to clean up any thread ends. You can now install them into your car. We hope that you have found this project helpful and it has inspired you to create something of your own. If you want to see the other projects in this automotive series, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you'll never miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.